I had spent years building my career and accumulating the wealth it took to live a life of comfort and luxury. My lakefront house was a testament to that hard work. My retreat. The view from the balcony was stunning. With a clear, unobstructed view of the water and trees, I had everything I needed, short of one thing: a helicopter. It had been a thing I had dreamed of for years, and after planning carefully and saving, I had just purchased a state-of-the-art luxury helicopter. It was black and sleek and was fitted with the latest technology. I could finally fly above the world, travel to distant places in mere seconds, and feel the rush of freedom. It wasn't an expensive toy. It was a statement. I had a huge landing pad built right on my estate so that it was functional as well as beautiful. It was situated near the water's edge so that I too take off and land without interfering with the appearance of the landscape. The helicopter was maintained in immaculate condition like all my other possessions, but as with luxury comes complacency. It wasn't long before Karen, president of the HOA, declared my helicopter an issue. The initial warning signs were when I saw her patrolling the grounds one morning. She had already been on my property, scolding me about the tiniest things like the color of my fence or how I'd cut my bushes. But this time her eyes were fixed on the helicopter pad. She walked up to it, checking every little thing, taking notes like she was some kind of property inspector. I knew what was going on. A week or so later, I received a letter in the mail from the HOA. The letter was brief as always, and it was full of rules and regulations which did not even make sense. The most which got my attention was the requirement that I had to get rid of the helicopter landing pad. It also stated that keeping a helicopter on my property violated some invisible HOA rule regarding unauthorized structures and excessive noise. I was furious. It was my property, and I was not going to let anyone tell me what to do with it. Least of all, someone like Karen. She had no idea of what she was getting herself into. I called her up the following day. "Karen," I said, my voice cool and calm, "I just got your letter about the helicopter. I don't know where you think you're coming from, but that landing pad is staying right where it is, and my helicopter is staying on my property. I don't believe you understand." Karen spoke, her voice dripping with superiority. "The HOA has bylaws, and your helicopter is causing a disturbance. It's not allowed to be here." "Karen," I interrupted, "you're crazy. I've done nothing wrong, and I'm not going to take away my helicopter. I'll see you in court if I have to." She didn't respond right away, but I could feel the tension in the silence on the other end of the line. I knew she was considering what she was going to do next. A couple of days later, I went to the landing area to take a breath of fresh air and check on how my helicopter was doing. As I got nearer, I came to a halt. The once spotless helicopter had been completely destroyed. It wasn't just scratched or dented. It looked like somebody had taken a sledgehammer to it. The body was twisted. The rotor blades were bent out of shape, and there was a big dent in the tail section. The windshield was shattered. I could feel my blood start to boil. This was no accident. Somebody had smashed my property to smithereens on purpose, and I knew exactly who was behind it. I went directly to call the police, and as chief, I ensured the investigation was thorough. But I already suspected. I had a feeling this was bad. Karen and her HOA buddies were the culprits. I wasn't going to allow her to pull the wool over my eyes. When the police arrived, they took pictures and started filling away what had been done to the property. But it was not in doubt that this was not just vandalism. Whoever had done this had taken great pains to ensure that my helicopter was rendered unusable. It wasn't only regarding the helicopter, it was personal, and it was a message. I went straight to the HOA office. Karen was sitting at her desk when I got there, and the look on her face was all the answer I needed. She knew she had been caught, and she was attempting to keep her cool, but a flash of guilt in her eyes. "Marcus," she said, trying to sound surprised, "I wasn't expecting you today. What do you want?" "You know why I'm here, Karen," I said, my voice cold. "You and your little HOA friends brought down my helicopter." Karen's eyes flashed, but she suddenly tried to cover it up. "What are you even talking about?" I don't have a thing to do with your helicopter, Marcus. You're not telling me the truth, I said, taking a step closer. I saw the harm myself, and I know this was your doing. You've been trying to run me off my own land for months, and now you've gone too far. I have no idea what you're talking about, Karen said, her voice shaking. I don't know who did that to your helicopter. Maybe it was some vandals. It's not my fault. You want to play it that way, I said, my patience wearing thin. Fine, but let me remind you of something. I'm Marcus Bennett, Chief of Police. I have the resources to find out who did this, and I'm going to determine who's behind this destruction. And when I do, I'm making sure the full force of the law comes down on you. Karen's face changed from that expression of fake innocence to one of sheer horror. Wait, Marcus, let's discuss this. I never intended for this to happen. I just thought it was too much for the neighborhood. And I never thought you never thought that you'd get away with it. Karen, I said, cutting her off. Well, you won't. You're going to pay for the damages, or I'll have you charged with vandalism, destruction of property, and anything else I can think of. You will regret this, Karen nodded eagerly, tears welling up in her eyes. I'll pay for it. I'll pay for the repairs. Just please don't go to the authorities. I stepped back satisfied. Good. You'll cover the repairs, and you'll make a public apology to the community. Such behavior will no longer be tolerated. Karen begrudgingly obliged, and I left the office sure that she had learned a valuable lesson. Nobody messed with me, not even the HOA. And as for my helicopter, it was fixed in no time, and I had it safely parked in a place where it could never again be threatened.